Hello students, I welcome you all to Current Affair lectures by AZAD ICS Academy, and today we are going to see the current affairs of 10th December 2024, right? Only 21 days left for this year to end. Now, before we start with the articles, we will also see some of the important questions that we discussed yesterday. Yesterday, we had discussed about the key objective of Oilfield Amendment Bill. And in this bill, we are trying to separate the regulation of petroleum from mining activities, right? So mining activities will be controlled by other ministry, and this will be controlled by Oilfield Amendment Bill. Or under this bill, we are trying to, separate the regulation of petroleum and mining activities. The answer is B for this question. Similarly, the next question that we had discussed is which sector has attracted significant FDI in India, and that is your telecommunication. Yesterday, we have seen that which are the important sectors in which FDI is being significantly a major role, right? The first article that we're going to discuss in today's lecture is the important editorial based on the energy dependent world, the issue of food security. So everybody is depending on energy, and because of this there's a lot of issues with the food security, and that is something that we need to understand, and we are going to understand the details about this. I'll be discussing about the editorial in detail. The intertwined crisis of food security and energy poverty presents significant challenges to global stability, especially it is also increasing the climate change and geopolitical tension. Agriculture is at the heart of this issue, being both major consumers of energy and significant emitter of greenhouse gases. Now, I want you to understand that. So, what is happening here is our world is completely depending on energy, even agriculture. Agriculture is a heart of this issue. The reason is because the major consumers of energy are nothing but the agricultural product producers itself, and they are the people who are also significant emitter of greenhouse gases. How and all, we'll see that in the upcoming lectures. Now, the interconnectedness crisis of food and energy security. How is the energy crisis and food security are interrelated to each other? We'll discuss this. This is mentioned in your editorial. Food system under pressure. Now, how is food system under pressure? The first important thing that we need to understand is the climate change. Because there is rise in temperature and the weather patterns are not, proper, what is happening is it is very evident that there is a lot of droughts and floods. And because of this, the agricultural productivity is increasing. Now, see, if there is a crop, there is a plant, okay? Now, this plant will be harvested or it will be cropped based on the seasons. Okay, we have Rabi season, Rabi crops, Kharif crops, etc. Right? So, what exactly, why do we have this? Because it depends on the amount of water they required for them to, grow in a proper condition. But as you see, because of the climate change, what's happening is the weather patterns are not clearly mentioned, or they're not clear enough, or they're not confined to a particular period. Nowadays, the rain is happening apart from rainy season, right? And the sun or the summer is very heavy, or in the summer season, the temperature is going very high, because of which we are also seeing that there are a lot of heat waves disaster that has been seen recently in the last year's current affairs as well, right? So what you need to understand is because of the droughts and the floods, that is automatically going to impact the agriculture. Now that if it is agriculture is impacted, that means automatically the food security is in stake, because the people are not able to produce more, and the people are not able to produce more, automatically the amount of the food grains is going to reduce less. Okay, it will be less, and because of this less or reduction in the food grains is going to also affect the food security. Now, apart from that, population growth. The global population is projected to reach around nearly 10 million by 2050, significantly increasing food demand. Now, you see, the above statement is telling that the amount of food grains are reducing, but similarly, you can also see that the population is increasing. So what is happening here is the demand is increasing and the supply is going on reducing, and due to this, there is a food crisis that we can see. Now, inequality. Access of food is uneven, with marginal communities often facing food scarcity and malnutrition. See, a lot of people, even if you go to, many different metropolitan cities or cosmopolitan cities also, there are a lot of people who are not even getting proper food, especially the marginalized community, such as it could be SCs, STs, or Dalits, or any such people, or the people who are having APL card or BPL card, the people who are below poverty line. Such people are still not having access to food. The food is present maybe for the people who are who are rich enough, but the people who are not rich enough are not having enough amount of what you meant to say food. That is unequal distribution or unequal distribution of what you meant to say is the food is happening. Now, energy system under the strain. How is energy system under strain? So we have to understand that there are a lot of issues like geopolitical tensions. Conflicts and diplomatical standoffs can disturb energy supplies and impact global energy prices also. Now, see, as I tell you how this is impacting. Now, India is importing oil from Russia, right? Now, oil means what? It's a source of energy. Let us assume. So, similarly, if there is a issue between India and Russia, which is not going to happen recently at least, but because of this, what would happen is because of the conflicts that we have with the other countries or because of the diplomatic issues that we have, maybe there would be issue in the energy supplies and that could impact the energy prices also. Okay. Now, outdated infrastructure. Many countries rely on aging infrastructure, energy infrastructure, which is inefficient and unable to support the modern energy demand. As you all know that now we need to understand that we need to go to the green automobiles. Okay, the automobiles which are going to work on electricity as well. But if we are still depending on petrol, then that means we are poor in infrastructure. Because now also we are not able to produce the electricity or we are not able to produce the automobiles which run on electricity and we're still depending on petroleum based, what you meant to say, automobiles. So this is one of the example for outdated infrastructure. If we are still relying on those energy infrastructure which are, consuming more amount of what you meant to say, resources, and we are not able to support the new modern demands, then this is a issue that we have related to energy system. Transition to renewables. The shift from fossil fuel to renewable resources is slow due to its high initial investment cost and political resistance also. See, if I want to buy a car which is running on petrol, and if I want to buy a car which is running on both, that is electricity and petrol, this is almost 5 or 4 lakhs rupees more. Okay, automatically I would go for petrol. As I already told you, the investment is very high, and also there are some political resistance that we have, right? The next important thing that we need to understand is how is agriculture depending or agricultural dependency on carbon intensive energy. Now, see, water use and emissions. Agriculture is responsible for 70% of the global fresh water and 20% of the greenhouse emissions. So, 20% of the greenhouse emission that is happening is because of the agriculture itself. Okay. Now, apart from this, we are also seeing that deforestation, methane from the livestock, and nitrogen oxides from the fertilizers. All these are nothing but the reasons why you can see that how agriculture is causing carbon emission as well. Now, agriculture is responsible for 70% of the global freshwater usage. So this is another important thing that we need to understand. Apart from this, what's happening is agriculture is completely relying on too much on fossil fuels. Like you can see that power irrigation systems or machineries that we are using, or we're using synthetic fertilizers, creating a cycle of environment, harming the environmental vulnerabilities, and also fuel fluctuation problems. So we have to understand that, for example, if I have a tractor, now that tractor is a machinery that I have. And if I'm using that tractor, how am I using it? I'm going to use it using the petrol, right? And that petrol is going to produce a lot of carbon dioxide and greenhouse gases. Apart from this, now, you may ask, ma'am, how agriculture is responsible, because in agriculture we have plants. See, it is not just including about growing plants, it's also including other things. Like, for example, here you can see methane from the livestock. See, especially the livestock, cattles are also called ruminants. Ruminants like cattles produce methane through the process of their energetic fermentation. So, whatever they are eating and whatever they're digesting or whatever form energy fermentation that they are doing, in that methane is produced, and methane is one of the greenhouse gas. Okay. And apart from this, manure management, the way the manure from the livestock is treated and it's stored. So basically what happens is now also if you see gobar gas or biogas, basically it is called as. From this biogas also what is coming out is methane and nitrogen oxides or nitrous oxides are coming out. So all these are contributing to the greenhouse gas. And we're also depending on the fossil fuels, as I already told you, that if I have any system, right, in that system, what I'm going to use is I'm going to use fossil fuels as the power. Okay. Apart from that, in energy inequalities and challenges. So you need to understand that the investment in the renewables, as I already told you that if you want to invest in the renewable source of energy like electricity, what is happening here? It is very costly. Despite of significant investment in renewable resources, fossil fuels remain dominant due to established infrastructure and geopolitical factors like oil and gas reserve. Apart from this, we also have to understand that people do not want to shift from the petrol to the electricity? The reasons are many. Maybe because all the infrastructure. Now, see, you may have a question, right? How if I have a car which is going to run only on electricity, how am I even going to, recharge it? If I want to go for a longer drive, how am I even going to use it? So this is a question that you all would have in your mind, right? So this is one of the reasons that people are not willing to, shift to the renewable sources of energy. Then energy poverty. In low income countries, access to affordable energy is limited, restricting agricultural productivity. This energy deficit drives up operational cost and consequently food prices also. Now, for example, let us assume in India itself, okay, if energy is not affordable. Like, for example, if I'm not able to get the amount of energy that I want, then automatically what I will do here is for agriculture itself, I will try to increase the number of the prices or prices of that particular good. And in that case, what will happen here is automatically my operation cost is going to increase and the food prices are also going to increase. Now we have to also understand the case study that is sub-Saharan Africa. Low fertilizer usage due to high input costs limit agricultural activities. In 2021, the region spent around 1.9 billion on fertilizers, yet remains vulnerable to global market fluctuations. So you need to understand that it is not about how much fertilizers you're putting. Okay, low fertilizer usage those also due to high import costs. So you can see that the fertilizer used is very uh, less because of the import cost. And in 2021, the region spent too much money on fertilizers, yet it is not able to, overcome its issues. So these are some of the case studies that we need to understand. Okay, now we have to understand about the geopolitical and economic risk in agriculture. Fertilizer dependency. See, we have to understand that in agriculture, we are completely depending on the fertilizers. Reliance on natural gas for fertilizers production makes it susceptible to price vulnerability. Means automatically, if I have to purchase the fertilizer, what I would need money, and that is making agricultural more vulnerable. And if I am investing that much money, I also want that much returns. So indirectly, what will happen is the number or the amount of the food or the prices of that food will go on increasing. Right? China's 2021 phosphate export has banned disrupt global markets, affecting countries like India, which heavily depends on imports. So, which, like for example, if India is depending on this particular China's imports, and if it is banned phosphates, now what will happen is there will be impact on Indian farmers as well, because we are completely depending on the fertilizers. Now, renewable resources and its limitations. See, uneven development. In 2022, 83% of the non-renewable capacity was in high-income nations, highlighting disparities in the energy transition efforts. High cost and infrastructural challenges. See, it's very difficult to have all the infrastructure that is required for us to, have this particular project or to, make our agriculture better. Right? So solutions like solar, irrigation, and biomass energy are promising but costly. As I already told you, they are costly. If I want to put solar panels, it's not easy. Okay. Similarly, if I want to have my biogas energy, that also not easy and it lacks necessary infrastructure in low income regions. Competing demands on agriculture. See, biofuel production. While biofuel offer a renewable source of energy, their production competes with the food crops and land and use water, potentially compromising the food security. So there are other things also that are competing with agriculture, like biofuel production is there, and that offers a renewable resources of energy, and production of that is now competing with food crops. For example, let us assume that instead of growing crops, if you start growing only biofuel, production related crops, then what will happen? The food grains will automatically reduce and this will go on increasing. And there will be a kind of compromise on the food security as well. The financial needs. Addressing global caloric need requires rupees 90 billion annually until 2023, using additional rupees 300 to 400 billion need to revamp the food security system for sustainability. So for 2023, this much money is required so that we can have, food sustainability, right? Implication of not having an action. If you do not take any action, then what will happen? There will be economic losses. Without intervention, food and energy security can lead to trillions of lost productivity and poor health outcomes. Regional disability. Energy disputes due to climate change may lead to social unrest, that maybe people will start doing mass migration or maybe people will start fighting with each other as well. Exploitation risk. African mineral wealth, essentially for renewable technologies, could be exploited without benefiting local economies. Because, what is happening here is whatever mineral wealth is there, we will try to, take up that mineral wealth because nobody is taking care of it. And like this, what will happen is we'll be able to exploit the local economies as well. Call for inclusion and sustainable solutions. So what we need to understand is there should be a proper structure. Okay, that is clean energy initiatives must overcome barriers that such as inclusivity. We should make aware of all the people what's clean energy. Just not using the petroleum is important, but we should also aware different people of how this petroleum is bad for the environment. Reimagining agriculture, transforming agriculture into pillars of sustainable development. So what we need to understand is whoever is now taking up energy, we need to make sure that they are using sustainable sources and not just depending on, fertilizers or always depending on the irrigation facilities, etc. They should do something like, counter farming and then mixed farming, etc. Immediate action. Prompt inclusive strategies are exclusive or essential to mitigate hunger assigned risk and align with global climate change. This include political reforms, investment in suitable technologies, and international cooperation to support vulnerable regions. So we need to make sure that there are immediate actions that are being taken whenever you get any kind of complaints or anything as such, right? Next important article that we are going to do here is Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji launches LIC Bima Shakti or Shaki Yojana. What is this Bima Sakhi Yojana? It is a significant initiative by Narendra Modi ji aim to promote financial inclusion and empower rural women in India. So we are trying to give more women for people who are in India. And how are we trying to do that? By providing them more amount of, what do you mean to say, financial inclusion, empowering the rural women, etc. This program is decided to bridge the gap between the rural finance services by training women self-help group members to act as insured facilitators. So what we are trying to do is here, what we will do is under Bima Sakhi Yojana, we will be trying to bridge the gap between what happened in COVID, that is, financial services, by training women self-help groups. So what we'll do is whatever women self-help groups are there. So you all know what are self-help groups. We'll discuss about more in detail in polity as well as in economy. So there will be some small groups. They're called self-help groups. Okay. And if the women self-help groups are there, they can basically make loans and all of that, right? So similarly, what is happening here is people will be made more aware that these people are self-help groups and etc. Right? Now, what is the objective? Empowerment of women, obviously. We want to make sure that the women are at a better position, right? This is the first important thing. Then training for facilitators. Women are trained to act as an insurance facilitator under the Life Insurance Corporation and Rural Postal Life Corporation as well. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to train them so that they become an insurance facilitator under Life Insurance Corporation and Rural Postal Life Insurance as well. Okay, awareness and assistance. There's some women create awareness about their life insurance and assist rural household with the necessary documentation to obtain insurance policies. So what happens is if you are even educating 2 or 3 women in a village, will they not be able to, tell about the same thing to different households also? Their neighbors will be also informed about the same. So whatever necessary documentation is there, that is being done. Okay, income opportunities. The program provides a source of income for women, contributing the economic development. So this is also very, very important that employment is also happening on the scale or large scale manner. Okay, apart from this, what we have is financial literacy, right? And we also have incoming opportunities. The program provides a source of income for women, contributing economic empowerment and self-resilience. Financial literacy, it aims to boost financial literacy, encouraging women participation in financial decisions making with their households. So whatever financial decisions that they need to do in their household, that will also be better because of this particular financial literacy. These are some of the objectives. Now, who is eligible? Okay, who can get this particular, or who can be a part of this particular yojana? The people who are aged from 18 to 70 or at least have a class 10th education are allowed to be a part of this. Now, what are they going to get? The participants receive a stipend of 7,000 in first year, 6,000 in the second year to support their role as felicitators. If they become felicitators, they will be getting some money. See, if you go and stay there, you will be getting 7,000 rupees for the first year. Second year, you'll be getting 6,000 rupees. Okay. So this is some of the very important, what you have here is stipend that they're going to give to all the women who are going to be a part. Now, I have mentioned some other important financial inclusive, initiatives. I'll not go into details. I'll just read it out so you can understand. There are self-help groups. There is Mudra Yojana for women so that they can offer trilateral loans for women entrepreneurs. Stand Up India scheme. There is nothing but provides financial support for the women establishing greenfield enterprise, right? Then we have Mahila Hai Hit. That is nothing but a digital platform designed to support women entrepreneurs by providing online marketing for their products. Okay. Mahila Kisan Sakshatkarani Prayojana, that is focusing on empowering women in agriculture and allied sectors, right? Financial literacy camps are also done, conducted by banks and NGOs to educate women on savings, credit, etc. Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, that is, over 55% of the accounts come under this scheme and are held by women itself, ensuring that they have access to banks and financial inclusion as well. So these are some of the other important initiatives. You can just have a look at it as well. Now, achievements that have happened during these initiatives. So, increased financial inclusion. Financial inclusion in India has risen from 35% in 2011 to 80% in 2023, with women crossing 56 for Jan Dhan Yojana or Jan Dhan accounts, integrate them with a formal bank system. Now, credit mobilization is done. That is, self-help groups have mobilized somewhere around 75 crores in credit significant power. So what is happening here is that many people who are women entrepreneurs are also getting money through this particular small self-help groups as well. Mudra loans, over 60% of the beneficiaries of Mudra loans are women, supporting their entrepreneurial activities and economic contribution. Financial literacy, that is efforts to increase uh, financial literacy have led a greater awareness of use of digital banking tools by women as well. So before, my mom would not know how to operate the phone, but now she knows how to operate it. So how she knows it? Because she has got some literacy and she's got some financial literacy as well. Okay. Now, the last important article that we're going to see here is steps to encourage natural gas production in India. Okay. So to encourage national gas production in India, it shares its energy mix up to 15% by 2023. India's government has implemented a variety of strategy steps and policy measures to, increase its natural gas production. Now we'll see what are the steps that it has taken. Expansion of the infrastructure. The first important thing that it has done here is it has expanded its infrastructure. National gas grid pipeline is being put. That is, expansion of the gas pipeline in network is focusing to improve the connectivity across the regions. So if I want to connect to this region and this region, if there is a proper gas piped network, what will happen is I can easily connect, right, through the regions, ensuring effective transportation and distribution of natural gas. So my effective transportation is happening because obviously natural gas will be done through the pipelines, and that pipeline should be properly arranged, cleaned, etc. So that transportation and distribution is taken care by this particular, national gas grid pipeline. Okay. Now, city gas distribution. Increase emphasizing on developing city gas distribution networks to enhance access to natural gas in both urban and rural areas, facilitating the use of this gas for domestic, commercial, and industrial purpose as well. So we are also awareing how these particular pans can be used in household, or it is also used in what you mean to say urban and rural areas. How it can be done here is by using it will also facilitate the use of gases for domestic, commercial, and military purposes as well. Now, liquefied natural gas or terminals. So establishing LNG terminals to give gas import capabilities, thereby securing a steady supply of natural gas and meeting domestic demand efficiency. So we are trying to make sure that there are many different, liquefied natural gas terminals, so that our gas import capabilities are also, getting increased, etc. Right? Now, the next thing is policy initiatives. So what are the policy initiatives that we have? Hydrocarbon exploration and license policy, which is also called as HELP. What it is trying to do, transition from product sharing contracts to revenue sharing contract mechanism has been introduced, simplifying the business environment and attracting more investors. Okay, now let us understand what is the meaning of this particular product sharing contract and revenue sharing mechanism. Okay, you see, product sharing contracts are nothing but product sharing mechanism is referred to a contract where the government and the resource extraction company, let us assume that there is any company XYZ which is extracting this particular resource and there is a government. Okay, so the contract between the government and the resource sharing extraction company split the produce resources. Like let us assume that this is producing oil. Okay, whatever oil is based. Now it is based on the predetermined formula. So for example, there will be a formula. Based on that formula, they will be able to split this particular, revenue. Okay, with which companies first recovery that exploration and production gas before the sharing profit. Means before whatever profit is being shared, that this will happen, that there is a kind of a formula that is there. But when it comes to the other way around, that is revenue sharing model, means both the parties share the percentage of gross revenue. So in this revenue sharing, what will happen is whatever revenue is there, that will be shared. Okay. So regardless of the company's cost recovery, so irrespective of company has received the recovery or no, that is not important. But it will still have to share some amount with the government. Okay. Making the government share immediate and transparent. Essentially moving from profit sharing system to direct revenue sharing system. So here we are not just sharing the profit, we are also sharing the revenue in the revenue sharing mechanism. Okay, simplifying the business environment and attracting more investors. So streamlining process and approval have been put in place to ease the operations of natural gas production. So we are also making sure that there are proper streamlined processes so that the operations for natural gas producers are also becoming easy. Also, what are the reforms that we have taken in 2019? Implementation of fiscal incentives for such 7-year royalty holidays for deep and ultra deep water blocks to encourage exploration and production. So we're also giving them some kind of incentives, okay, for like royalty holiday is being given for such people. Concessional royalty rates are offered for both specific blocks and make investment in natural gas extraction more attractive. So what is this concessional royalty? We'll see that. See, concessional royalty is nothing but it is a royalty rate or royalty paid by the contract holder. Let us assume there's a contract person who is holding it to the government or a private party in exchange of exclusive right to explore, develop, and produce resources. That is nothing but what we, if I want to do gas exploration. Now, what I will be doing here is I will be getting exclusive rights to explore and develop and produce resources. For that, I will be giving some kind of, concessional rate also. These are offered so that investment is happening in the natural gas extraction and is more attractive. Now, pricing and marketing freedom is also there. Freedom for producers. Producers in a high pressure, deep water and ultra deep water areas have been granted marketing and pricing freedom. That means you can do whatever level of marketing you want to do whatever level of freedom that is there. Allow them to set competitive prices based on the market demands. A 20% of premium of administrative price mechanism, that is a price that is available for gas extraction for the new wells, are through interventions by major companies like ONGC and Oil India Limited, incentivizing further exploration and development. So if anybody who is doing new administration, so what we're trying to do here is we're also giving them some kind of interventions so that they are getting more exploration and development that is happening. Apart from this, what is the sustainable energy promotion? That is SATAT initiative, that is the Sustainable Alternative Towards Affordable Transportation. Initiative promotes the use of bio-CNG as an alternative and a cleaner fuel for transportation, supporting the transition towards sustainable energy fuel. So this can be some of the game changer here because we are trying to use bio-CNG, the CNG that is not extracted from the mining or something. It is being produced by growing some crops, etc. Right? That oil can be, produced using agriculture and all of that. So bio-CNG as an alternative and cleaner fuel for transportation. So whatever transportation is that can be done will be clean and will not, increase the carbon dioxide or greenhouse gases, supporting the transition towards sustainable energy future. So we can have a better sustainable energy future by using this kind of initiatives as well. Now, let us go to the question for today. Which policy shift has been introduced under hydrogen exploration and license policy? Help. So try to read the, important points. And if you have paid concentration to this particular class, you'll be able to answer this question. I would recommend all of you to, put your answers in the comment box. And if you have any suggestions, try to put it in the comment section. And it will be great help if you could share these videos and, talk about these videos because we would also come up with more such initiatives. Thank you so much. Have a good day ahead.